Hello everyone, my name is Chandria. Welcome to Chandria Carol Stitches. Today I have for you a 2024 finish parade. So all of my 2024 finishes, and I also am going to talk about stats. So this year, 2024, I ended up stitching 182 out of 366 days. I had 29 new starts, 12 of which are now currently finished. I had 17 total finished projects, and out of those I had 12 fully finished objects. I do actually have some graphs, but I'm going to talk about that at the end, and we're going to go through all the pretty projects first. So if you're not really interested in more stats, then you can skip that part at the end. So I am going to go in chronological order, and if you see me looking off, I have my laptop with the information so I can tell you fabrics. I figure that's probably the big one that people sort of care about. So first up was actually a gift. This is Pizza Slice Kit by Mill Hill. Like I said, it was a gift, so I don't have it anymore, but you're seeing a photo. Number 2 is Snow Much Fun at the North Pole by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. So I've turned this into a pillow, just a little pillow finish. This one is fully stuffed with polyfill and has some fuzzies. So yeah, just this one is stitched on 28 count coastal lugana by Picture This Plus. And I changed a few of the colors. This purple is not called for. I think I just used like random extra kit threads. I like to do that with itty bitty little ornaments, pull from just extra threads. I know that I also changed the gray outline of the snow globe to make it more visible. But yeah, this was from an ornament edition of This was from an ornament edition of Just Cross Stitch magazine. I'm not sure which one, but I know that you can also buy this on their website currently. Next is Stinkin Cute by Frony Ritter Designs. This was also from a Just Cross Stitch magazine, and I believe that was a February edition, probably in 2022 or 2023. This is stitched on the 32 count Nightshade linen by BeStitchMe. And this is a thrifted frame that my grandma got me, and it's absolutely perfect. Next is Mon Cher Cara by the Witchy Stitcher. This was a Patreon exclusive pattern. I'm not sure if it's released yet, to be honest. This is stitched on 32 count Life's a Peach linen by BeStitchMe. Hopefully that's focusing. I adore this one. This is actually, and I'll show you the back, this is just a canvas, and I hot glued this to the canvas with some batting to make it squishy. So an incredibly easy, simple finish. And I wasn't too concerned about hot gluing, because if I ever did want to refinish this, I would probably just cut, there's plenty of extra fabric, so I would just cut off the parts that were hot glued. So yeah, I'm not concerned. For most things though, I like to lace. Again, just so if I do ever want to change my finishing, I can, but next is Silver Bells by Lindy Stitches. This is finished as a flat fold. This was my first ever flat fold, and this, so this is stitched on 32 count white lugana that I got at just a craft store. It's incredibly thick and stiff, so it was really hard to really wrap that and get straight, clean edges. I used the overdyed thread pack that you can get from Lindy Stitches that uses the Forbidden Fiber Co flosses. It's some DMC, but a few are overdyes. Like I said, from Forbidden Fiber Co. And then, yeah, it's a flat fold finish. Next, this is N is for Narwhal by Hands On Design. This is stitched on 32 count Sea Spray linen by Seraphim Fabrics, and this is part of a set, so I'm not going to finish them until I have all of them done. I currently have a polar bear and this one, I believe it's like a set of 5, so I got a ways to go. But yeah. This one is a charity pattern for the Special Olympics. You can find that on the Hands On Design website. The others I believe you can find as paper patterns, but the Narwhal one in particular was a charity PDF. Next is Are Tea-riffic by Frony Ritter Designs. This was my StitchCon Smalls Exchange project. It's stitched on 32 count baby pink linen. I believe that's just Zweigart or maybe Witchy. And that one I actually have a note that it was from the February 2021 issue of Just Cross Stitch magazine. That was there's a set of those patterns, and just a little spoiler, one of them says Stud Muffin, and I'm going to do that one this year. Next we have Bring Me Her Heart, which is a pattern by Katie Landis of the Black Needle Society. This was designed exclusively for a box. It'll probably be released at some point, but I'm not sure when. And this also came with a finishing class to teach us this circular finishing, a blanket stitched like felt pocket. This is a mirror that slips inside. All goes along with the theme of like Snow White for this. And then it's finished with chenille and pins stuck around. The finishing class was by Lois of Lady Dot Creates, and it was amazing. I learned so much. If you ever have the opportunity to take a class with her, highly recommend. That was stitched on 32 count Vintage Country Mocha by Zweigart linen, and I believe it was all Weeks Dye Works called for threads. They came in the kit. Next is Strawberry Possum by Mama Witch X Stitch. This was stitched on 14 count Do Ada by Charles Craft. It's printed, so like it's white on the back. I wanted this nice and big. It's completely not ironed, as you can tell. But yeah, just a cute little mini. And that's all the called for DMCs. Next, we have my Stitch North Smalls Exchange gift, which was the Spooky Stories Scissor Fob by Katie Landis of the Black Needle Society. That was stitched on 32 count Basalt Splash Lugana by Zweigart, stitched 1/1, and then finished into a scissor fob. Next is another completely not ironed piece, but we're going to fold that up a little. This is Trick or Treat Squirrel by Wrought Iron Stitching. It's stitched on 32 count lightly salted, not roasted linen by BeStitchMe. And I'm not sure. There we go. I think that's focusing a little better. This is from Just Cross Stitch October 2023 edition, and it does have a companion piece that I've also stitched, which has a raccoon. I'm not entirely sure what that one's called at the moment. But yeah. So I did swap some colors to make it match the color changes that I made on its companion piece. The little raccoon. So I'm gonna finish it similar to that one when I pull out my finishing stuff again. Next is the Stitch North 2024 ornament kit. This was given to us as a it was given to us fully as a kit as part of our like swag bag for the retreat. It's finished with a felt back cover for this wooden cutout stitching. And then that is stitched with Roxy Flossco flosses. Next we have a Jingle Ball class finish from 2024. This is Bryson Bentley Badger by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. This is stitched on 28 count Crystal Valor opalescent linen by Picture This Plus. Like I said, that was a Jingle Ball class exclusive. I got the kit, so I also have the custom Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery finishing fabric, and it is finished as a flat fold, finished during the class. That was stitched with all DMCs as well. Next, we have my biggest finish of the year. This is Festive Forest by the Blue Flower. It's stitched on 32 count Cypress linen by Fiber on a Whim. This was a Jingle Ball class exclusive. I got the kit. So this is stitched using all of the called for Cottage Garden threads, Roxy Flossco threads, a couple of Weeks Dye Works, and some DMCs. It also included the finishing topper, and this is Cucumber Velveteen by Lady Dot Creates. So let me turn this around for you. It is filled with walnut shells, so it is hefty. I just absolutely love this. That's the top. This was also finished a couple days after the class. But yeah. Next, we have Dear Santa. This was a kit from Satsuma Street. It is finished as an ornament with just some pink sticky foam backing to the perforated paper. Everything I used was from the kit. Even this baker's twine, which, okay, the foam was not from the kit. But the baker's twine was, it's used to like hold your flosses together, and I always just repurpose that for the hanger. Next, and we're almost done, I didn't have too many finishes this year, so almost done, just 2 more. So next we have the Canada Goose kit by Mill Hill. I do not know if that's going to help or make it worse. We'll just do this. So this is Canada Goose. Like I said, it's a kit by Mill Hill. This was a table gift from Stitch North from the Hathaway Stitchers. So cute. And then my last finish is this Nutcracker ornament by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. It's stitched on 25 count vintage country mocha lugana from Zweigart. And I don't know if you can see the sparkle, but this gold color is Krynic. I did a full, you can kind of see a little bit. But I did a full color conversion, so he looks a tad patriotic, but that's fine. I think I'm going to finish him with some green trim to make it a little more Christmassy. And that's all my finishes. Like I said, I had a total of 17 finishes, and 12 of those are fully finished. For anyone who just wanted to see the pretty objects, I really appreciate you deciding to click on my video and check out these finishes. For anyone who wants to stick around and see the stats, I have a couple charts that I threw together, just showing my stitching days per month, well, my stitches per month, and then my starts and finishes by month, because I just always find that really interesting. So yeah, let us first start with, and I'm going to pop these charts up. Let's first start with the starts and finishes by month, because I think that one is pretty simple. The blue is the starts, the green is the finishes. They sort of go hand in hand. I tend to have quite a few smalls that I'll immediately start and finish. But then, of course, we did have some starts and no finishes, and it just happens. But overall, I think my trend looks pretty decent, because I am mostly, when I'm starting these smaller things, I finish them off pretty quickly. My max starts for the year per month was 5, and I only had 1 of those, and I believe all of those starts I also finished. I had 2 other months with 4, but I had most months below that, so I don't feel like that's too unreasonable. And then, of course, finishes, it just varies. I had a slump in July, August, and September, where clearly I didn't have any finishes, but I also wasn't stitching much at all during those months. So let's switch over to the stitches per month chart. And so you will see that, like I said, in August, September, and October, I did not stitch much at all. In September, I only had 932 stitches total. And that compares to November, when I was working on cranking out a finish for the Festive Forest, because when I bought that Jingle Ball kit, I did not realize how big that project was. So I immediately really got on it in November. I stitched 28 out of 30 days in November for 11,165 stitches. Far and away my heaviest stitching month. On average though, my other high stitchy months were March, June and July, and December. And all of those hover around 7,500 stitches. For the most part though, I only had a few months. Things were really busy in January. I was just starting tracking these things. Yeah, just at the start of the year, I'd say we got off to a little bit of a slow start and then had that slump in the fall. But we ended on a high note, and I'm hoping to really carry that momentum forward into the new year. I have a lot of plans, and most of those revolve around just stitching. I don't care on what. I don't care if it's a new start, if it's a whip, just stitching. Because my motto is you can't finish what you don't start, so I'm really not too worried about starts, but I would really like to actually see progress and finishes. So as long as I am stitching, I am happy. I honestly, new starts are a little bit hard for me, so I have to do, well, it's one of two categories. It is 100% spur of the moment, I'm gonna do this, or it is very careful planning for quite some time in advance before I ever start anything. So I'm not usually the type of person who's just going to start a bunch of things on a whim. I would rather, it's much easier for me to pick up a whip that's already got at least a few stitches in it and then carry on stitching. So as long as my plan is to just stitch, I'm not worried about the rest of it. It's all gravy. Do I have any other? Oh. Absolute total stitches, man. There we go. I knew I had something. For total stitches for the year of 2024, there are a couple caveats to this. There were a few projects, including the Canada Goose, the Nutcracker ornament there at the end of the year, and a few other times at the beginning of the year, sprinkled in, who knows. Anytime I work on a paper pattern, I usually do not bother to take the time to count the stitches that were in it. So they are going to add to the whip, the stitchy days, starts and finish numbers, but they are not going to be included in stitch counts. So take it with a grain of salt. Most patterns that I stitch are Pattern Keeper compatible, and therefore I can easily track my stitches. But for the ones that are not, they're usually small, so I'm not too concerned about the numbers being too off, but just a caveat. But total stitches was 65,160 stitches. I'm thrilled with that, especially because there was 1 month I had less than 1,000 stitches. So it really is pretty impressive. I'll take it. I also really got kind of on a knitting kick this year. So there were quite a few hours that I put into knitting projects that were not stitching. And again, I'm fine with that. I feel it's productive and that makes me happy. As long as I'm not sitting scrolling on my phone, I don't care what I'm working on, but just seeing that number, I'm good with that. I am also really excited. This is the first year that I have done stats like this, so I'm really excited next year to compare these numbers and see the differences. I said, I've got quite a few plans and goals. I don't feel like they need a separate video all their own or anything like that. I'll just talk about small things in my floss tubes as I go along, more short-term goals. I learned from last year that there is absolutely no point in me taking the time to make a year-long plan because I'm not going to stick to it. Things are going to change, and it's going to just try to, I mean, it's just going to upset me trying to hold myself to some rigid goals that I planned 8 months previous. So we're just not even going to bother. I'm going to do more short term, and the only long term thing I aimed for is Whip Go, which is fine. I made my Whip Go a little bit more attainable this year as well. So yeah, that's it. This was just a short, quick little update where I wanted to, all in one spot, show my 2024 finishes for everyone to see. I'm so proud of these. I really like having these items on display in my home, so getting them fully finished in a reasonable time is always a priority for me, but I also don't want to dig out all of my finishing supplies unless I'm going to do several things at once. So I usually let it grow for a little bit and then go in and do a bunch of them all at once. Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that if you liked anything you saw here and you like the type of projects that I work on, that you decide to subscribe and join me next time. I do have a whip parade that I plan on filming maybe immediately after this if I can get my button gear and get all my notes written down. But that should be coming soon, and then I'll also have a new floss tube on the way soon where I talk about just my early January and late December wrap up. So I hope to see you then. Bye!